Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here, spokesman and advocate for basic human rights for all people. That refers to you, each and every last one of you, enjoying and experiencing every last one of your beautiful dreams this time in your life, in these bodies. You know, yesterday I had a part one to this program where I was going to try to tell you about some things that are very important that you should know about this life. I received a correspondence, as I mentioned in the other presentation, part one, of a gentleman who, out of necessity, found himself compelled to start acting a certain kind of way. And in so doing, he was able to, and all of this was legal, mind you, he was able to start making money, and to the extent he became a millionaire. And now part of maintaining that status requires that he contact other people and get them together to talk about his dream, his vision, and how they can themselves benefit from practicing these same principles, knowing that a certain amount of them will indulge themselves, many of them won't, but enough of those that do to maintain, if you do it enough, that millionaire status. But what blew my mind, if you don't mind me recalling it for you, it said this, and I would like to read it for you. Imagine what it would be like to buy what you want whenever you want. What would it be like to go anywhere you want, anytime you want? First class, by plane, train, or cruise ship, or in a brand new car. I live where I want, buy what I want, go where I want. If that sounds good to you, I can show you how to do it too. Now that basically is the principle of capitalism, ladies and gentlemen. It's put in a nutshell. I found out something that worked for me. Now you come and let me tell you about it. And maybe you can try it, and it might work for you too. Cost you a little bit. I'm not giving it to you free, but I'm investing in you. That's why I'm giving you free dinners, because it's worth it for me, and if it works for you as well. But ladies and gentlemen, the thing that really blew me away about that is this. Not too long ago, I did a YouTube presentation about the same thing. How wonderful it would be to live where you want to live, go where you want to go, when you want to go, work on the job that you love doing it, and having free time with all of these idealistic, wonderful things. I mentioned it to you. And it didn't require any money involved. It's just a plain philosophy of life that, here we go, duplicated by something that does not present you, every last one of you, the blessing of. It only works for some of you. This guy would be the first one to tell you it does not work for everybody. But I come to you and I tell you about something that works for everyone. And let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. I want to put this bluntly. The reason that I speak for paradise on earth at one time, the moment of truth at another, and love, ministry, life of victory, eternal at another, and now basic human rights, is because I have been blessed to some understanding that I'm sure if you understood, you would be as excited about it as I am. You see, if you knew for a fact that what this gentleman is talking about those abilities and freedoms to do what you want, could really work for you. If you knew that there's another way, which is simply guaranteeing to yourself, by guaranteeing to your neighbors, guaranteeing to one another that you would allow nothing whatsoever to interfere with those needs and desires that are common amongst you all. We perhaps have special interests, and we have to deal with special interests. That special interests deserve to be dealt with. But first of all is the common interest. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I say to you, in this two-world system, one represents every last one of you. Every man, woman, and child, male, female, young, and old, is representative of the power that we can't see, except by all things that exist. This other is a representation of men. And every man, be it whomever, is selfish. And everything that a man does will always be selfish. Because men are selfish. Human beings are selfish. That's what being a self is. A self means being selfish. Selfish. You can't help it. Selfish. And it is designed to be that way. Being selfish will not work for anybody. Being selfish will not work for anyone. Sure, there are those who would kill, do everything to have their way. But they miss the best life they could have ever had by doing the things they do, trying to get what they missing all the time. So I say to you, ladies and gentlemen, if the world is yours by virtue of the power that created you and it and all those things like that, why would anyone yield to a system that creates poverty, crime, and violence? Why would anyone do that? It just behooves me, drives me up the wall to think that America, most of all of America, chooses to walk the way of some Republican or Democratic or human thought as opposed to something that, and you say, well, what I'm saying, how can I say that's divine? How can I say that's the way that life would have it? That's the way that God would have it. The reason I can say that is this. Every last one of us exists because of that power. And everything that this proposal that I mentioned to you can possibly produce positive is there for every last one of you. That's why I know it's from the God that I serve. And when I hear other people start talking about blessing one group and not another, and God is leading them, I know what God is leading them, and I want you to know as well. And why do you know? Because one works. And let me tell you, bottom line, because I don't have that much time, I'm going to get to the point. It is God versus self. It is God versus man. Anytime you're doing what man wants you to do, you're blowing it. There's going to be all of the things that exist in the world will happen. Bottom line. Now, there's only one way that this thing can work. Just like a seed that produces a wonderful, beautiful flower, or a seed that produces a delicious piece of fruit. The only way is that we exercise those tools of life. And that is recognizing that we have to listen to the Creator. We have to listen to that which works. You know, because when you start talking about Creator can confuse you. But you start saying that which works for everyone. No special interest. It works for everyone. And everyone is benefited gloriously. And if one is left out, we trash it. Now, under this proposal, the only people that suffer are those who want to exploit, abuse for the sake of power and control and manipulation. Now, they will be angry, but not you. And when I think about what the options are, and I have to deal with the fact that people are choosing to listen to Republicans and Democrats and yes slavery, no slavery, yes no lipstick, yes lipstick. You want to follow that? Well, let me tell you, you got the right to do so. But that is the challenge. That is the challenge. Do you walk according to man, or do you walk according to the power of God? Now, you say you love God. Do you walk according to the powers of God? If you don't, you do not love God. I don't care what you say. Your action speaks louder than your words. And if you love God, that means Sure, every last one of you over here that love God need, because it's common amongst all people, the same thing that those people who serve man's way of doing. In the words of old, serve Caesar. You got the same basic common needs as they. But now you are representing God. And where God stands, it works for everybody. Where man stands, it works to the survival of the competition. So what do when man has created laws that exist all across the board to protect their interests? And here you come in with God, some new stuff. How do you mix that in? I tell you how you mix it in. You don't. You just do what God says do. If you need a home, then you apply those basic principles that work in heaven to get a home. It's going to mean some change in the guard. It's going to mean a lot of changes. It's going to go through a lot of changes to overcome all of these human years of existence that's created what we have today. It's going to take, but God can do it. You just stand. 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 Stand not because I say so. Stand because it's the way of life. And yes, I know, man, selfishness will come to persecute you like it's doing everybody else that's being persecuted in the world today. But you, like a tree, stand. You will not walk on your own. The only way you move, somebody has to cut your ass down, or otherwise you will stand right there. And that's how you got to be for God. Why? Because God's love works for all of you. It works for all of those who are selfish. It works for everyone. And that's nothing to be ashamed of. Nothing to be ashamed of. So, what have I said? In summary, I have said this. It's man against God. Now, if you're walking with man, that means you are not concerned about all people. You're not concerned that all people prosper, and that's where. And I'm giving it to you like this: all people have the benefit of a heavenly life on earth. All people having if you don't want to go as far as the earth, we'll just bring it home. All Americans having the experience of heaven on earth right here in America. That's the goal. That's the objective. That's God's way. Anything other than that is man's way.